Bongino's been bought and paid for.
I'll do it without any hesitation if you want me to.
Oh, shocking. The narcissist leaps forward.
Fully monetized.
Candace is practicing necromancy.
YouTube supports the damage being done to the conservative movement by Candace Owens. It's a political psyop against MAGA, and they will do everything they can to amplify it.
Yeah, he really said that. We're going to check out an episode where these two tag team Candace Owens, and then we're going to talk about Gary crying over Candace Owens' Super Bowl coverage.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, but guess what? You get 2 for 1 today. That's right. I have Gary from Paramount Tactical.
Fantastic. These two guys touch tips forever, and I'm going to skip through it to something good here. Here we go.
Another inconsistency of YouTube is they don't like if somebody's been banned off the platform, me platforming somebody who's been banned off the platform.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And Candace literally had no qualms, no problem, fully monetized.
Candace Owens has been demonetized on YouTube. She has spoken about it before. You would know this if you actually watched her show instead of pretending to watch her show.
Having Myron Gaines on her channel.
Yeah.
I literally sat down and did an hour-long interview with him. Same thing with Nick. Nick is banned off the platform. She had an hour-long video with him. Harvey Weinstein, I think it's fair to say that he might be a problematic individual. She had a whole interview with him from jail. No problem whatsoever. Fully monetized, fully, all of those things. That's crazy work right there. All right, I just want to get that off my chest.
No, that's good.
Aside from the intro part where you saw the clown Gary call Candace Owens a political psyop against MAGA, these two guys are begging for censorship. They want censorship. They want YouTube to enforce rules against Candace Owens. And, sooner or later they're going to call her a leftist poser. And Gary's just kind of, yeah, that's true. And just kind of, he's praying this guy will get by this part because he knows it's ridiculous.
I do want to bring your friend up here, though. I'm going to bring the young lady up here, and I apologize. There is a little bit of language in here. The woman, she didn't get the memo about you got to speak to Gary in nice tone. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, here's Gary's fan email.
I'm sending this video out to Gary at Paramount Tactical. You are such a loser in all your BS chasing after Candace and criticizing her for her research on Charlie Kirk.
So these guys selected this woman because she mentions Candace, and now they're going to make fun of Candace's entire audience using this woman as a tool. I've seen this lady before on other podcasts. She seems to like to get drunk and send them videos.
Okay, Gary, in all honesty, okay, in the chat, let's be honest, people. How many beers do you think she had before she did this? Come on, let's be honest. Come on.
She had 2 boxes of wine, easy.
2 boxes? Wow, okay. Okay. 2 boxes for sure.
I wrote on X that the stereotype that I had in my mind of who a Candace cultist is, this wine slop candy cult.
Yeah, for sure.
It's exactly what you imagined it to be, right?
They don't let you down.
And I think that is the vast majority. Don't get me wrong. There's other folks out there, but for the most part,
these fake man podcasters are constantly calling Candace Owens' audience a wine slop candy cult. They cry like babies that their midterms are lost because of Candace Owens. So is the wine slop candy cult vote needed to win? Or is the intellectual firepower of Gary, Jwhit, Tim Pool, and all the other establishment bootlickers, because that's who they are now, is their intellectual firepower combined not enough to stop a black girl in her Tennessee home office?
Look, these are people that are living quiet lives of desperation, that need something exciting to drive them. They have nothing going on in their lives. They don't have any meaningful relationships, so that they're going to rely on these conspiracy theories and things that seem exciting. But I think a vast majority of them know that aren't true.
Oh, they lead quiet lives of desperation. Bro, this is copium. This is middle-aged man copium.
And I think, look, I don't think for a second that Candace Owens and her surrogates believe what she says. She knows that people are dumb enough to buy into her bullshit. And it's just like all the other, look, it's entertainment, and she knows it is. And it's just like, you can put the greatest, you can have Marvel Comics in the theater, or you can have one of the absolute best ever documentaries in the movie theater. And by the way, that documentary could tell you and prove to you that in like 5 years, this earth is going to blow up or whatever, right?
For sure.
It could prove an existential threat. And the entertainment is going to outperform truth every single time because people want the sweet lies over the bitter truth every single time. And that's what we're dealing with most of these people out there.
I mean, that was the crappiest. I mean, these guys are so narcissistic. He thought he was profound, saying, "Oh, they'd rather watch an amazing movie next to a boring-ass documentary. An amazing movie will win every time. Dun, dun, dun. An amazing mind." Let's get back to the brain trust here.
No, I think that's a great catch. I appreciate it. All right, I'm gonna pull in. I think after watching that young lady, I think the only thing that's reasonable and makes sense is that we take a little station break. We hear from somebody that maybe can help cleanse the palate, so to speak. So with no further ado, Ami Kozak. Ami Kozak, green hearts in the chat. Oh, and by the way, I heard it in the chat. Green hearts in the chat for Jwhit, red hearts for Paramount Tactical.
Green hearts in the chat for Jwhit and red hearts for Gary, Paramount Tactical. They sound like high school girls. No, they just spent a whole minute lecturing us on the sweet lies versus bitter truth. Says Candace is an entertainer and engages in this, knowing her audience is wine slops. And then Gary and Jwhit are going to bring in another three grown men gossiping and making fun of a little black girl like Mean Girls.
I don't know if you do that, but I'm now making that a thing. Red hearts for Paramount Tactical.
Red hearts
in the chat. And I'll just say it differently today. Hearts in the chat when you can hear.
All right, you guys, today on the show, we're going to be discussing more about Erica Kirk and her possible connection, her possible relation to Captain Kirk, who, as you all know, was the captain of Star Trek and the Star Trek space exploration, in which they were going deep into outer space to various planets. We want to know why they were going to these planets, because it's so obvious they were performing deep child trafficking rituals, okay? Child rituals where they're performing ritualistic sacrifice deep into outer space.
So when I first saw this, I thought, you gotta be kidding me. So they're going to let this guy go on and make fun of child trafficking in space. I'll explain after he's done.
Going to various planets to perform these. We know this. We're going to be discussing this. Erica Kirk's connection to Captain Kirk, who was played by none other than William Shatner, okay? William Shatner was, of course, Jewish, okay? He was raised in Canada to two Jewish parents whose grandparents, William Shatner's grandparents, were from Ukraine and Lithuania, okay? Which is just crazy because we all know that Ukraine and Lithuania, I mean, Ukraine is really interesting. It's very interesting what's going on with Ukraine and that his grandparents were from Ukraine. And these are, of course, the child trafficking capitals of the world today, okay? So we're going to be discussing William Shatner's connection to his Jewish ancestry, and this all makes perfect sense. Of course it makes sense. And the fact that he played Captain Kirk, okay, on Star Trek, and Captain Kirk's connection to Erica Kirk, I mean, it all aligns, it all makes sense. I've been telling you the truth, okay? It's going to make perfect sense, and I'm not crazy at all.
What?
Okay, now the dork on the phone screen was making fun of Candace by saying there's a deep space child ring, blah, blah, blah. He is literally describing the plot of Space Relations by Donald Barr. Donald Barr is the guy that hired Jeffrey Epstein at the Dalton School, one of his mentors, and an intelligence operative. The plot of Space Relations was just what that guy made fun of. Now, if Jwhit and Gary were smart, I would call this gaslighting or a psyop, but we now know they're not smart. So these are just two ignorant idiots making fun of something they can't comprehend. I think that comedian knows the Donald Barr story, and he's just kind of reworking it to make fun of Candace. And I think he's a sick bastard.
What do you think about? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as funny and as crazy as that is, it's exactly what we deal with Candace. It's the exact same line of thinking and logic that Candace used. She strings these weird things together that make no sense, that have no relation, that are absolutely incoherent, and then she puts it all together and like...
It's cool to see boomers before their time have a good time. But these guys are ignorant of the plot of Donald Barr's book. And why does that matter? Because later, this brain trust is going to talk to you about the Epstein files. Well, how can they talk to you about the Epstein files if they don't know about Donald Barr's book, or Donald Barr with Epstein and Dalton? These are just idiots making fun of something they can't comprehend.
There it is. That's what we have.
There it is.
There is literally no difference. He could have been quoting her, which, by the way, I really love that guy's impressions of Tucker Carlson. Those are the best.
Trash. I don't know if you know what? Because if you behave properly, and everybody make sure you hit those like buttons, all that kind of stuff like that, I will find one of him doing Tucker. His Tuckers are insane. You are correct. I'll find a Tucker while you're talking. Go ahead.
I just speed through this till he says something worthwhile.
That is, I think, one of the few people that Candace fears is going after Donald Trump directly. So,
I think you are right on the money.
Right on the money? These guys are delusional at best. Candace Owens rejected Donald Trump to his face about backing down on Brigitte Macron. She called out President Trump time and again over his subservience to Bibi Netanyahu as she sees it. There is not one issue these two can name that Candace Owens has avoided when it concerns Donald Trump, President Trump. I assume they're just lying here because anyone who watches Candace for 10 minutes knows this. I mean, Candace Owens even said the president's family would be cursed for generations if they developed Gaza because she considers, they stole it. It's a real estate deal. That's how she says it. So I really don't think they watch Candace Owens ever. I think they just kind of lie about it.
And somebody asked me, what do I think about her being a speaker for Catholics, which ironically is not associated with any Catholic church. I was going to talk about that actually tomorrow, Ruben, but I'll talk about it right now. This is exactly why I say emphatically that there needs to be a culling of the herd, and people groups should stop allowing people into their group that just self-identify without there are actual requirements, if you will, to be a Catholic. Now, do I promote Catholicism? No. We will probably have a fight in a second about what I think about Catholics. But let me just go back to where I'm at. Catholics need to cull their herd, just like Presbyterians need to cull their herd, just like black people need to cull their herd. And people that represent you need to represent you properly.
Yeah, culling the herd means the selective killing of inferior ones to make the whole herd better. Now, I assume this guy isn't talking about killing everybody. I assume this narcissist is just talking about canceling everybody because these guys are censors. And they really love censoring people. They are the antithesis of the First Amendment.
And just like I say all the time, not everybody who says that they're black or support black causes or the highly melanated crowd need to be saying anything because they don't. They don't represent. And the same thing with Presbyterians or same thing with Christians or Catholics. Catholics need to say something about this. If Catholics are okay with this, then that's just what it is. That just says, it says way more than me being upset about it or Gary being upset about it or anybody that's not affiliated with Catholicism being upset about it. If Catholics are okay with that, that's on you.
That is the exact moral blackmail Charlie always complained about people doing. And these guys willfully engage in it. They spend the next segment telling us how they're going to reform the Catholic faith, and neither one of them's Catholic. And then there's this gem. Listen to this.
And the fact that Candace is constantly going after pedos this and pedos that. Is I do think that there needs to be some sort of discussion that goes on with what is the sexual abuses that have taken place within the Catholic Church.
No doubt, no question.
Whoa, the 90s are back. This is the most left-wing talking point about PDFs in the Catholic Church. While it's been a problem, I know, public school and NGOs around the world, nonprofits, have surpassed them.
I haven't seen a reconciliation of all that. As a matter of fact, from my perspective, and again, I don't keep up with Catholics and people, you guys can, correct me if I'm wrong over in the comments. What I've seen is I don't necessarily want to say a cover-up, but they're ignoring the issue.
So I got to speed through these two rebuilding the Catholic Church, and then they talk about the comeback of Dan Bongino.
Look, Dan just coming back, his haters and everybody that loves him, his fans, everybody else. I don't know that I love Dan. I
used to love Dan. It took me a while to get there, too. See, I knew Dan Bongino before it was cool, way back when he ran for Senate in Maryland. His campaign manager was Kelly Tane. She was a very good friend of mine. She wanted to hire me to create a website and some imagery for the Dan Bongino campaign. At the time, I dealt with Dan's wife on the phone, who was very nice but quite standoffish. And she ended up going with one of her friends. And that was fine. I didn't care. That's just how life works. I billed him for my very short time. It was like $400. A few weeks later, I heard from Kelly, and that's when I heard what happened. She told me that Dan was completely abusive to her and stiffed her for about $40,000. I was caught in the back end of that scuffle. They never paid me either, but it's not a big deal. I got over that because it's just life, and sometimes, despite this guy stiffing me and my friends, I could see his potential. I could tell if he got on air, he'd become big. And eventually he did, and he won me back as a fan. And then he was called to the FBI and he served. And it sucked. He humiliated himself and our country by covering up those Epstein files. And he waited to get out as soon as possible because it was just too hot in that kitchen for Dan. And now he's returned to podcasting to proclaim he will save everything. And I think he's a joke, and this is what I say to Dan Bongino.
Fuck Dan Bongino! He chickened out on the Epstein files. He let deep state off the hook. He couldn't explain Thomas Crooks. Fuck Dan Bongino. He said the pipe bomber was
Other than that, I have no problems with him. Not being content with reforming the Catholic Church, Gary will then expound upon his expertise in Scientology and tell you how Candace is more like a Scientologist. Watch.
And I'm very hesitant to start criticizing somebody's religion.
But I'm going to criticize the shit out of Candace's religion right now.
Their walk with God, their relationship with God, and everything else. But I
want me to do it? I'll do it. I'll do it without any hesitation if you want me to.
Oh, shocking. The narcissist leaps forward.
We can look at the Bible and we can look at the fruits of the Spirit and what's going on there. One of the things that dawned on me, have you ever looked into Scientology?
No, but not deeper than just some of the shenanigans, hijinks, a very high level view.
Sure.
I didn't need to dig into it, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
A few years ago, I got really into looking at Scientology, not because I was attracted by it, but because I was disgusted by it. And then I started learning about how crazy it is. Basically, Scientology is this atheistic religion that is kind of formatted, bottled up, and presented as this self-help. And that's really what they start off. And there's probably some merit in some of the lower level stuff that they do. And it's really about learning self-discipline, just basic things that most people, that, by the way, that religion, especially Christianity, but I'll say all religions, but Christianity specifically gives us a much better foundation to begin with. But that's how it's sold. And I got really into looking at Scientology, its origins, L. Ron Hubbard, how it works, how you actually increase your status, and really into some of the details of the stuff. And at the end of the day,
all right. Oh, holy crap. First, let me get the insults out of the way. That was the dumbest explanation of Scientology I ever heard. Okay, it's stupid. Listen, folks. I know you just heard Master Theologian Gary Melton explain Scientology. But I can't even talk. It's hilarious. But like I said earlier in the video, I lived in Clearwater for a long time. I knew Scientologists, worked with them, etc. So, the salvation of the Church of Scientology, it's called going clear. It's like a master stoicism. They'll put you on these goofy things called e-meters, which I think are e-readers. They were supposed to read your emotional intelligence or something. It's goofy. The process of being reviewed, status as he called it, that's called audited. And you're audited by a person called a thetan. That's like a priest of the church, so to speak. There's different levels. It is not easier in the lower levels. It's way harder. You're like a goddamn slave. If you have money, you can be like Tom Cruise and do what you want. So everything he said about Scientology is wrong and will get you in trouble and lead you down the wrong path and make you look stupid like Gary. And there is like some alien Xenu stuff like you've heard like in Joe Rogan. It's goof. I'm no Scientologist. I'm not a supporter of it. Like I said, I worked the Lisa McPherson case against him. I handled the notes for attorneys and stuff. So yeah, you know. But Gary's a fool.
Her rhetoric is much more akin to Scientologists than it is anything that resembles Christianity.
Ludicrous.
Yeah, so I just went over how the salvation of Scientology is called going clear, which is emotional mastery. I think we all know that Candace Owens doesn't have emotional mastery like that. And her walking towards the Church of Scientology is their worst nightmare. Just the fact that if she started investigating them, it would probably be the end of them. Really, Gary should encourage her to investigate them. But he can't put that together. And Candace Owens with her pulled back hair, getting ready to fight episodes where she gets mad. You see her get mad. She gets sad. She talks about it. She's honest about it. Well, she's not going to be a model Scientologist.
Anything even close. From past, as a matter of fact, most of what she says is so antithetical to the teachings of Jesus Christ, and especially the New Testament, that it's really hard to even begin to try to say that, hey, what she represents in any form is Christianity. I would make a case that she is much more akin to Scientology. And then we have John Mappin, who is one of her biggest advocates, who likes to talk. Look, and this is one of the Scientologist games, is they talk a lot about Jesus, Christianity. It doesn't matter if they're talking to a Buddhist, they're going to use the language of a Buddhist. If they're talking to a Christian, they're going to use the language of a Christian. And they're trying to appeal to you to recruit you. And this is really what this is, to recruit you into a cult. And that's what it is. So you see John Mappin that is a big supporter of hers and has had a huge influence on her life, allegedly introduced her husband, George Farmer, to Candace.
To her. Mm-hmm.
So Gary's whole diatribe saying Candace is a Scientologist is to tire to John Mappin and pretend like John Mappin is some puppet master So that was ridiculous. Yeah, George Farmer is a theology major from Oxford, so he knows a lot more about religion, any religion, than Gary ever will. In fact, George Farmer has forgotten more about religion than Gary ever will know. Also, John Mappin, not only did he introduce Candace and George, or he's partly responsible for it, John backed Charlie and brought Charlie to England and started Turning Point UK with Charlie. John Mappin was a huge supporter of Charlie Kirk, so he adored them both, John Mappin. And yep, he's a Scientologist. But he runs an awesome hotel called Camelot Castle. Really cool place.
I think there's more going on there than we understand. But I do think she's heavily influenced at a minimum by Scientology. And it clearly shows that there's more evidence of Scientology than Christianity or Catholicism.
No, I think you're right on the money.
No, and that's why he doesn't present any. And it's shocking that Mr. Public School Teacher says, I think you're right on the money. A bunch of nonsense here where they beg their chat to come in and debate him or something.
We gotta take a Tucker break. We're gonna take a Tucker Carlson break. Now, don't tell me that this is not Tucker Carlson, by the way, because I do believe this is Tucker Carlson.
I mean, like, who even is Dave Rubin?
I'm gay myself.
I mean, come on. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know who that is, actually, like at all.
So what did you mean when you said Dave Rubin doesn't have a soul?
I did say he doesn't have a soul. I was talking about the soles of his feet, actually. Like, I from what I understand, he's flat-footed. I know he plays a lot of basketball, like a lot. Like,
So you do know him.
Yeah. And so if you have flat feet and you're playing basketball, I mean, that could certainly affect how you play. It certainly can cause a lot of pain. I don't wish pain on anybody, actually. I don't want him to have any sort of pain. But if he does have flat feet, then there's a problem with his soles. He doesn't really have a soul. He doesn't have soles. And he might need Dr. Scholes, which can help. I think Dr. Scholes was a Jewish man. I have no problem with that at all. Like, oh, but if he was a white person, there's no problem with that either.
I just want to point out how unamused Gary looks, even though he says he likes this guy.
Period.
What?
And so
wait, Tucker, those comments were about Dave Rubin's feet?
The truth is, I barely even know who Dave Rubin is at all, actually.
But didn't you write the blurb to one of his books? Don't Burn This Book?
Yeah, that was a mistake. I thought I was writing a blurb for Rick Rubin.
Really?
Actually, yeah, the music producer.
You thought it was for Rick Rubin?
Yeah. Oops. He's a music producer. He doesn't wear shoes either. He may have flat feet as well. And he's also Jewish, and that's fine. I abhor anti-Semitism. I hate it. I actually hate it. Oh,
sure.
Find it despicable. And all racism is wrong, period.
You also said Rubin is one of the bravest, smartest people you know and has a tremendous television presence.
Yes, I was talking about Reuben Studdard.
Who?
Reuben Studdard from American Idol. I think it was the first or second season.
Flying without wings.
Oh, man.
I mean, listen to that. It's amazing. Flying Without Wings, which I think could have possibly been a reference to 9/11. We don't know. I don't know at all for sure. But it seems like a reference to 9/11. We don't know what happened that day. Flying Without Wings certainly seems like some sort of cryptic message. I'd like to look into that. I'd like to ask those questions. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's Reuben Studdard, who I love deeply. I love.
Reuben Studdard. So Dave Rubin.
No idea. I'm sorry. Don't know who you are. Sorry, no idea.
So all those times you were praising Reuben.
Yeah, I was talking about the Reuben sandwich.
Wow.
Which is a deli sandwich, which is developed by Jewish people, and I love Jewish people, some of my favorite people, actually. And the people who support Jewish people are some of my least favorite people. Sorry, and I take that back, but I love deli.
So not Dave Rubin, but the
Reuben sandwich.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, lastly, what are your thoughts on Dave Rubin?
I love him.
Yep. You're not serious.
I know.
All right, you ready? Did that help cleanse your mind, get yourself in the mindset?
Actually, it was a little embarrassing.
The
Candace saturation is crazy.
the illogical nonsense that I'm forced to sit through and listen to is just.
Evidently, Gary is forced to listen to this like Clockwork Orange, with things holding his eyes open. He's not doing it because he can't think up a show. He's not doing it to lick the boots of TPUSA. He's forced to listen to this.
But you know what? I'm glad to be here with you. I'm glad to be here with everybody over in the chat. Let's do it. Let's do it. I don't know.
All right. Well, she has not hit the go button yet on her show yet, even though it is 5:30. So I'll pull it in just so you all can see that we are in fact ready to go. We have Gary from Paramount Tactical. Please make sure that you like his channel. Please make sure you follow him on X. You're more prolific on X than YouTube. Is that fair?
No, I think the opposite.
You think? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have been. Look, X is easy to do when I'm not doing anything else. Like, you know what it is. Like, if we're going to get up here on YouTube, like, we got to get here, you got to sit down, make a video. It is easy. I hated X just a few months ago. Okay. I've learned to like it, and I've learned to utilize it. So I'm putting a lot more content over there. But, when I'm traveling or whatever else, it's much easier to just throw up comments or repost something or post a quick video. It's easier to do. I definitely have probably been more prolific over the last couple of weeks than I have been on YouTube. But normally
Gotcha.
the opposite by far is true.
Got it. Understood completely. No, I wasn't saying because I see you definitely more active over there, but that's fair. That's fair. I'm just looking through some of these comments. What did I miss here? Shout out. Thank you so very much, Jennifer. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game, respecting the game. Thank you so much for the very kind 5. Thank you, Debbie says this with a 5. This makes me want to cancel YouTube, so I'm not supporting Google, but I want to follow all of this and watch your videos. Is there another platform? Most of mine is here on YouTube. I don't do you put yours on Rumble or other places?
Yeah.
Put it on X.
I simulcast everything and I upload everything to Rumble as well. The problem with Rumble is it sucks.
Does Rumble suck? I don't know. I don't get the response on Rumble I get on YouTube, but I don't know Rumble that well either. But Gary seems to think Rumble sucks. But then again, he thinks Candace Owens is a Scientologist.
I mean, I don't know else other way to. Number one, you just don't get the views. You get 1/100th of the views that you will on YouTube. Look, folks, I really do think I'm kind of putting a lot of eggs in the basket of X. Number one, it's a free speech platform, as close as we're going to get. It, by far the freest of all the platforms. Ultimately, and Elon has talked about this, he wants X to be the everything app, right? So it is definitely going more video centric. So I am cross posting everything I do on YouTube over to X as well. And if and when X kicks me off, or YouTube kicks me off rather,
YouTube kicks off.
They have continued just in the last few weeks. I've never seen anything like it. They've continued to pull a bunch of my content off that have been there for years. I do think this is an attempt by the Candace cult, and I know that there's certain Candace surrogates that have been telling people to report me and my content and things like that. So during this whole Candace thing, the first time ever, I got 2 strikes and was pulled off of YouTube for a month.
Okay, these guys suffer from Candace 19, the disease Candace talked about. It's like Trump derangement syndrome. Gary just went on about how YouTube is anti-Second Amendment, and he's a Second Amendment channel. He's a 2A channel. He has no proof that any Candace people knocked his show off. Show the receipts, Gary. YouTube gives you notifications why you got strikes. I get them, so he gets them. They just attacked the entire Candace audience as drunken wine moms. Well, I think YouTube would strike older videos of Gary's because it's Second Amendment stuff rather than an army of wine moms. Why would they even look at his old videos? Gary's old videos are pretty good. He'll teach you tactics, how to hold a handgun, all the stuff wine moms aren't really interested in.
Oh, wow.
And so, and then I was, then we've had, I was off a month, or was it a week? I don't remember. I think it was a week.
How can you not remember if it's a month or a week? Ian Carroll talked about Gary getting knocked off like this. And we missed the old Gary. He came back different. With all their talk about showing the receipts, I would like to see the receipts about how he got knocked off and for how long and why and what changed.
But regardless, and then I've had like 2 or 3 streams. You were on one of them that I actually pulled down. A lot of my videos continue to get demonetized. And part of this I think we're easy prey because we are a 2A channel. I think part of that plays into this. And, YouTube's never been a friend of mine to begin with. So,
right.
Oh, YouTube's never been a friend of his. It's anti-2A. And only part of it is he's a 2A channel. Okay, buddy. I mean, at least he's admitting some of the truth here.
Yeah. So I think just to answer the question, I think this is the easiest place for people to find content. And again, I think, and Gary and I have talked about this I think we talked about on channel that, we want, Rumble to be more efficient, to be better. Give me your overall thoughts on her attacks on Erica Kerr. Now, just outright blatant attacks on Erica Kerr.
Why isn't it Erica's attacks on Candace? The staff of TPUSA has gone after Candace since the day after Charlie's assassination. All of this has been done with Erica's blessing, if not her direct orders. Tyler Boyer and Stacey Sheridan, along with Erica Kirk, Erica Fronsvy at the time, drove Candace Owens out of Turning Point USA. They recognized she was going to be a foil to their designs. It's a pretty complex web, so that's got to be a whole other post. It could be its own video, just that story.
Well, I mean, it's disgusting. There's no other, I don't really have another adjective for it.
Right.
Again, I'm always kind of thinking about what's going on with Candace and who she is and what she's doing. And this is all could be tracked back to just high school nasty girl, jealous girl gossip, right?
Gary just described the neocon establishment and his show for the last few months as the nasty girls.
What she's doing is she's sitting back at a table with a bunch of her friends, and this girl comes walking in that's cute, that's nice, and then they're just sitting there. They're just sitting there and like, oh, look what she's wearing today. Oh, look at this. Look at that. Yeah. Look what kind of jewelry she has. Oh, look who the people that she hangs out with. It's that nasty high school girl smear.
This is a joke, right? The little circle Gary travels in constantly harasses Candace about her clothes. Every day is a fashion critique of her stuff. This is one of Gary's favorite pets, Natalie Denise, who he constantly retweets, and she's always making fun of Candace's clothes. And of course, she's a liar. This is a complete AstroTurf fake outrage campaign. I found this blouse for $129. So even when they're trying to attack Candace with something stupid as this, they lie. I promise these fashion police aren't a bunch of homos, these guys sitting around. I mean, Gary's literally talking about Candace jewelry to another guy. They debase themselves. These men debase themselves doing this. You can hear the hatred in his voice. He is dripping with hatred.
That creates this illusion of suspicion and everything. And she's obviously has such a large table that she's sitting at, right? So she has such a large table.
I mean, the hatred is palpable. This is an inversion, a willful inversion of reality. Candace Owens versus Erica Kirk, and Candace Owens is at the large table. Have you been on X lately? Erica Kirk's got all the money, all the speakers, all the leaders, all the establishment. She's even got Gary. What's Candace Owens got? Ian Carroll? Tucker Carlson? Sometimes Megyn Kelly? Are you serious? Who's at the big table? You gotta debase yourself to think like this. Or you gotta hate somebody.
That it's effective, and I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen it too.
Right, fire in the hole.
I'm pretty sure neither one of these guys were miners in the Old West. So when this guy says fire in the hole, he's talking about when you throw a grenade. So even when they're playing around on their podcast, as soon as they hear Candace's voice, they say fire in the hole because they're about to throw grenades on her. People will tell you who they are if you let them.
A lot to uncover today. First and foremost, we have a lot of alibis that were given to us about September 10th, where people were when they got the news. And I have to say, these alibis are beginning to crumble like Building 7 on 9/11. We're going to talk about that too. Wow. Very briefly.
Wow.
Also, Ben Shapiro watches every single minute of this show. Trust me, he directly quotes it all the time, everywhere he goes. We don't know, but we know. And you have to watch this clip of him attempting to make fun of me. It's glorious. It's glorious. I really have one. Welcome back to Candace.
I think Ben Shapiro's right. I think he's got her number for sure.
At that moment, Candace was quoting from Charlie Kirk when she talks about she really won. And these guys don't know it, and it's sad. They've taken the anti-Charlie position of praising Ben Shapiro. Charlie had texted Candace saying she won because he was up around D.C. watching Ben Shapiro stomp around angrily over Candace Owens. Charlie absolutely relished that Candace was getting in his head. And it's sad to see them take the very anti-Charlie position of saying Ben Shapiro has Candace's number. I mean, that's a complete joke anyway.
I agree.
All right, here we go with alibis. Let's go with alibis, which is nasty work. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Green Hearts in chat when you can hear.
It's very macabre work.
Candace mispronounces a lot of words. I find it adorable. Gary makes fun of her because that's what he's man enough to do, I guess. And with teachers like Jwhit teaching the youth, this is why they can't read. You have guys like that in our public school system. Well, is it a wonder no one can read? Seriously, though. These guys just spent a whole bunch saying how Candace sits at the mean girls table and all this stuff. And here they are gossiping over how she pronounces words. These are grown men. This is what we're reduced to. You want to know why there's Epstein files and evil things happening all over the world? Because this is what an American man is now. We have to do better.
Going on, you guys, a lot to cover, to uncover, and apparently our government is out there just trying to discover certain things. And I just have to tell you what's going on in this world right now. The best way that I can make you understand this. We're essentially the muggles, for those of us who read Harry Potter, maybe those of us who were dweebing it like me and read it a few times in the story of Harry Potter, we're the muggles. There's this entire world of witchcraft and wizardry, spiritual darkness and spiritual.
I'm going to stop real quick because I didn't watch Harry Potter. I haven't read Harry Potter. I'm not very interested in it. I just want to throw something out here, and I would like for you all, when she does it, just spam the chat and say, I told you so, Jace. I told you so. Whenever she shows you actual evidence for what she's going to say, I don't even know what the muggles are, but I guarantee you she's not going to show you any correlation and say, hey, this is an example. Gary is doing this, and I have proof. Here's evidence that you can see, that you can run with, and you can analyze yourself and see that I'm coming to the same conclusion. She will not do that. This is going to be crazy.
Light that's happening, people that are practicing literally Babylonian magic. And they intentionally rendered us as the muggles, the people who are not aware that it's going on at all. That all seems so ridiculous. That can't be true. And I think that
Say again, my friend.
I was just Babylonian magic.
Right, Babylonian magic. So
Project Looking Glass.
Yeah, we're back to Project Looking Glass, time travel, and the such like that. Like, she means this thing. She's not saying this in hyperbole. She does, in fact, mean this. So this is not just like, Gary, it was magic how you called me right at the right time. No, she means magic.
And by the way, transforming us into idiots. It began when in America, when they removed the Bible out of the classroom. It used to be taught at public schools, the Bible, so that you knew.
Okay, I'm here to pick fights. What stops, if the Bible being removed from classrooms, which, by the way, is weird work. I'm a former classroom teacher. You really didn't want these people teaching your kids Bible. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, you want to teach them trans testicle stuff, and what the f*** is this guy talking about?
But what's stopping you as a parent from teaching your child Bible once you get home? I'll wait. And here's a bonus question. What's stopping Candace from teaching the Bible here on her show?
Doesn't it look like Gary is agonizing over this?
What's stopping Candace from teaching the Bible here on her show? Nothing. That's right. Not a thing. It doesn't matter.
The real point behind this, though, Jason, is she's mixing Christianity speak with all the other stuff that she's going to present, which is demonic in itself. She's going to convince you that there is witchcraft at play, that there's all these things going on in play. And then
Master Demonologist Gary Melton.
And then she's going to even talk about witchcraft, essentially, like when Charlie's necromancy, when Charlie's coming to her in her dreams, revealing things. Like, that's completely, again, not biblical.
Right.
Candace is practicing necromancy. Candace will necromance the crap out of you. Having dreams about people is not biblical. It's nonsense. The high demonizer is failing us. These guys are just dorks. Charlie approaching you in dreams is not necromancy or unbiblical. These guys are stereotypes of the small men who brutalize people in things like The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. They're dorks.
But so she mixes this around in the same way that the devil actually quoted scripture to Jesus as he tried to tempt him. So this is what we're dealing with, and this is the type of person that we're dealing with. It is demonic. And she is the head of it all.
She is the demonic head of it all. I am sure someone can get a Bible verse or two to help these guys through this crisis. Do you ever think that maybe Gary calls her like Satan because it sounds better if he's picking on Satan than picking on a, 36-year-old girl?
Let's keep it going. Let's get it.
Ooh, big man. Let's get this lady in her basement studio.
Your history, and then kind of Hollywood rose, and they sort of make fun of people that go to church. They've also, people that do go to church are having the word perverted in some ways, as we've covered extensively on this show. They made us think, essentially, that the Bible was a fairy tale, effectively blinding us all to the fact that it is very real. All of it is real. Angels, demons. Today's just going to be one of those WTF episodes when I share with you the true story of what the heck we were doing in Iraq.
We were capturing the Sumerian magic device. That's what we were doing.
I thought we were running duck and cover for Indiana Jones, special ops for Indiana Jones, and the lost, pacifier of Pharaoh. I don't know what, it was something. Moses's gym shoes from third grade PE class. We were there. That's what we were there to uncover, right?
You were sacrificing a generation to Halliburton so some scumbag lobbyists could get lake houses. You didn't have the courage to say so then, and you don't have the courage to say so now. And Gary Melton, he just looks like he's suffering, man. That is the face of regret.
Again, somebody mentioned it this week that they think Candace got hit with another cease and desist.
When did the right wing become so litigious? This is so stupid. These legal fantasies are fake and gay. TPUSA is in a horrible position to stop people from talking. They have almost no standing.
Or her lawyers told her that she needs to stop because she seems to be taking her foot off the pedal, even though yesterday was gross. I admit. She seems to not be coming out the gate talking about TPUSA. It's almost like she's adding some more things in there so she can say like, well, I was going crazy. I was having a psychedelic moment or whatever that nature. Because this is just bona fide insanity. And yesterday was probably even worse. But all right, let's go.
Gary is squirming so hard here. He can't stand this. Okay, first thing is I had to go to a better looking picture of Candace because she's glamorous. And I noticed this Jwhit guy, He always likes to stop on pictures of her. Looks like she's taking a crap or she's going to sneeze. It's a really low thing to do, so I'm switching up what she looks like. This guy talks about her taking her foot off the pedal. How? These people have been egging for Erica and Candace to go at it forever. And once Erica and Candace went at it, everyone starts crying. Candace, whooped her ass. Are you not entertained?
Let's go back. Let's go backward.
Backward.
Let's recap the Muggle edition of what we were told, okay? The Muggle edition goes like this. On September 11th, 2001, some super de-duper evil Muslims, known to most of us now as Israelis, hijacked some planes and drove them into the Pentagon, flew them into the Pentagon building, also the Twin Towers, and then Building 7 kind of got really emotional seeing his friends get hit and went ahead and just collapsed itself, right?
Gary, I know I told you, bro. I'm going to try not to rage quit because I got guests here today. We had 1,200 people watching. I'm going to do my very best not to rage quit. I cannot promise you that this is evil.
Yeah.
Again, go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, and what she's doing here is she's undermining the credibility of
the official narrative. Because he's official narrative Gary, and he just caught himself.
Some real, look, there are still some questions unanswered about 9/11.
Absolutely.
Still questions about that we should discuss. And Building 7 is a real mystery. That being said, I'm not ready to throw out, there could be explanations that we just don't understand. The fact is we don't know. But what she's doing here is, like, I want to believe every time she speaks, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going with the official narrative. I hate you so much.
Well, we finally got there. I told you he's full of hatred. He later goes on to say he's joking, but the rest of this video, I'm not even going to bother with. These guys just rant and rave, and they just let it all hang out.
I hate you so much.
Right.
I'm going to go with the opposite of whatever you say.
Well, I think that's enough. That was a good time. If you like what you saw here, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll pick on Gary and Jwhit if they ever do another collab. It'll be fun to watch Gary suffer through it again.